Captain's Log, 5th Reckoning, Chronicle 36. We are about to commence work on a most important operation. An attempt to revitalize the Nakul Star. One of the finest vessels in the Alliance is joining our efforts today. May the wisdom of Lukar guide us to success.
I am so bored. Sorry, did you say I can't hear you? Speak louder. Okay, I'm gonna keep drinking. If you want to keep talking, you do that, but I can't hear you. Have fun. Shore leave needs to end soon. So you work in comms, that's nice. And wait. What's it? Kuumaarke called in? The Lukari needs help with something, huh? Pleasure chatting. Excuse me. Oh my god, something to do at last. Get out of my way. Come on. Quinn. Please. Don't give it out the mission yet. Sir, I was just passing and I hear there'd be a call for a scientific mission from Admiral Kuumaarke. I've yet to congratulate her on her promotion and thought that I would volunteer the Armiger for this. You know, it should prove to be a nice shakedown post-retrofits.
The Lukari have been working on a project in the Nakul system. The initial efforts have been quite promising, and they're about to move to the next phase. If successful, the damage to the star and that system will be repaired. Admiral Kuumaarke has requested our assistance, and I'd like you to provide it. She's sent specifications for a device called the Stellar Rejuvenator. Have your engineer install it on your ship before you disembark. You'll be using it as part of the Lukari efforts there. Report to Admiral Kuumaarke in the Nakul system when you're ready. Quinn out.
Quinn out? What? Yes, sir. Right away. And Hale out. Yeah, I'll get right to it then. Finally, shore leave is over. Let's get back to it. Now, with this Stellar Rejuvenator being installed, I guess I should familiarise myself with the fully Yorktown refitted version of the Armiger. Oh, it's nice to be home. The Nakul have been a problem in the history of Starfleet, or at least will be. The time travel makes things strange. In essence, the Tox Uthat was a relic from the future, a stellar manipulator that was the subject of pursuit from multiple factions, with time travel available to them. The Vorgons, the Nakul, and even the Tholians. The chase to secure this device involved hopping through various theatres of the Temporal Cold War, and has been a part of Mark Hale's Temporal Agent backstory since his first missions. Even back in 2270, his original vessel was destroyed in combat with Klingons allied with the Nakul before Hale was brought to the 25th century. During missions around the retrieving of the Tox Uthat, the Tholians managed to use it on the primary star of the Nakul system dimming it and reducing it to a smouldering coal. Their homeworld is now dying and has little time left. Representative Katek was our point of contact when dealing with repelling the Tholian attack, and suffice to say he was not pleased at having such a disaster brought to his system. The thing is, all this trouble with the Nakul leads them to become enemies of the Federation in the 29th century, when they wished to use their time travel to alter time and prevent this all from happening, against the Federation's non-interference policies. Here's where things get even more troublesome. Captain Walker of the USS Pastak, a Federation temporal ship, cautioned us against using time travel to fix the Nakul star, citing this very incident as one of the reasons for the temporal accords in the first place and the reason they unfolded the way they did. Now, today's mission seems to be an attempt to fix the star, which is all very well and good. However, if the future of the temporal accords is to unfold, surely it still needs this to unfold, as was already written. Now, I undertook this mission on a whim, but it seems that it has put me at the centre of some unfinished business. Perhaps it will pay to have a temporal agent on hand to keep an eye on things that unfold, making sure time travel is not a factor here, or something. Our attempts to repair the star might even fail, in which case things can unfold as they have already been predicted too. But another aspect of the temporal Cold War is that it rendered the Prime timeline malleable and changing. Maybe the events we undertake here will result in a more stable future of the temporal accords, one without further Nakul alterations. See, every alteration in time either creates an alternate timeline that overwrites our own or splinters it off into a parallel universe. Such questions are of mammoth scale, and something the Federation Time Agency is to keep an eye on, with other powers, such as the Travellers, intervening should there become a problem. So I guess I will continue on this mission. After all, it's repairing damage we failed to prevent, and if we really do something out of order, then another time agent will probably show up to slap our wrists. Enough worrying about the ramifications of our actions. As long as we're not creating some chaotic net negative, we should be alright. Now, as Discovery establishes, most time travel and such issues were moot by the 32nd century, because by then the Cold War had ended with the dismantling of time travel in all forms, even most research. So, let's just see what happens here today. We arrive at the Nakul system, in the Alpha Quadrant, at the fringes of explored UFP space. The glowing red star appears in the late stages of life, possibly ready for collapse, the result of the Tholians' manipulations. Well, things are certainly looking foreboding in the system. We're not privy to many of the Nakul's actions, as they are isolationist by nature, much as the Lukari were. However, involvement with the time travel has only forced them to be even more standoffish, and it is through the Lukari government that they've agreed to these healing efforts. Starfleet and the Kitma Alliance, as allies of the Lukari, are therefore lending their aid, but this is very much all on the Nakul's terms.
Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being a part of this.
Of course, Admiral Kuumaarke, and I believe I owe you congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you. It's an honor I fully intend to live up to. More about that later. We've got a job to do. Before we begin, I should warn you, the Nakul are somewhat anxious about this procedure and any complications that might arise.
Yeah, they're not the only ones. But it is understandable it is their star we'll be attempting to repair. Last time the Armiger was here, it involved Tholians and time travel, so let's hope neither of those are present again.
Indeed. But we have earned their trust over the months of research here, and I intend to honor that today.
Alright then, the Armiger is at your disposal, Admiral. Let's get started.
Heading to the primary coordinates now. All hands, prepare to deploy the stellar rejuvenators. It's time to heal a star.
We're given coordinates to report to over their freezing homeworld and to make our way to them. Representative Katek is still in office, it seems, although he has cut his hair since we saw him last. Probably shouldn't start with that. It's a delicate situation, and they already mistrust us. Interestingly, his dialogue is a bit more civil if you have yet to complete the Stormbound mission.
We meet again. one hopes your efforts here today will have a better outcome than your previous attempt to repair our star.
I mean, trying to help isn't the same thing as...
If I may interrupt. Representative, we are indeed ready to begin the process. With your blessing, of course.
Yeah, what she said.
Very well. Our fleet is standing by to assist you if necessary.
Thank you, Representative. We'll keep you apprised every step of the way.
The time has come. Admiral Kuumaarke, I hereby authorize you and your associates to proceed. May your efforts lead to a new dawn for the Nakul people.
There's a rather sizable Nakul force out today, with most of their vessels clustered around us and scanning, keeping their eyes on the strangers above their home. They really are tense. Well, let's not give them a reason to fear us. We have nothing to hide. So we move into our position to get a clear line to the star, something Kuumaarke has already worked out ahead of this operation. We just need to point and click.
Getting some strange readings. Try adjusting your cohesion beam frequency.
Alongside the LSS Raskava and the LSS Traloon, we fire into the star, a stream of energy, eerily reminiscent of the Tox Uthat, but this time hopefully reversing the damage. Still, some modifications are needed, so we make the adjustments to the beam before the LSS Traloon opens comms.
We're reading several disruptions in the cohesion beam, originating 100,000 kilometers from the star's surface.
Yes, we do too, attempting to compromise now, but what are your thoughts, Admiral?
Stellar activity in the area may be causing the fluctuations. Adjust your course to the following coordinates. Let's see if the situation improves there.
If we tighten formation, our beams may reinforce one another.
Agreed. Move to the following coordinates.
Alright, relocating to try again. We angle to meet the new location, a closer-knit formation alongside our allies, hoping the beams will work in tandem to overcome the possible interference.
You've reached the new coordinates. Deploy from there. Once you've redeployed, you'll need to adjust the frequency again.
Right, yes, new location, new calculations needed. Our three vessels fire the stellar rejuvenators once more in our new formation to make the alterations in an attempt to force the star to return to its original state.
Initiate stellar modulation sequence on my mark. Mark. Modulation initiated. Energy levels are increasing. Reading erratic spikes at the stellar core. Abort! All ships abort now!
Science, cut the beam. Cut the beam.
That was far too close for comfort.
Yeah, we picked up some weird readings there. What happened?
I detected a feedback loop forming. If we hadn't shut down when we did, a stellar flare would have backfired along the cohesion beam. The damage to us and the Nakul would have been catastrophic.
Alright, so somehow the energy was being bounced back along our beams. Yeah, got it. That would have probably gone down poorly, especially if the explosion was as big as you expected. Oh, and Kateka's noticed what has happened, and he's hailing us. Brace for impact, after all, I guess, Admiral.
Are you mad? Do you think we will sit by idly while your incompetence puts our star at risk once more? Explain yourself, immediately!
There was an issue, so we cut off the attempted restoration in order to investigate.
I suggest you do so quickly and with positive results. Rest assured, if you do not save our star, then you can be certain that our fleet will avenge it.
I understand, Representative. Hale out.
I've taken a look at our data from the incident, and I believe I've found something.
Oh, good. Last thing I want is another firefight with the Nakul.
I've discovered where the cohesion beam started to suffer interference. The coordinates are 0.4 AU from the star.
Alright, something along with the trajectory was messing with it. Let's take a look. After all, this is supposed to be a mission of healing both the star and relations with the Nakul.
Alright, I believe it's time to get to the bottom of this, before the administrator loses his patience.
I wish he'd get that we're just trying to help and wouldn't further endanger his star. Well, we're closer. Anything being picked up?
Some of the asteroids nearby are emitting an unusual level of energy. However, their composition is making long-range scans ineffective.
Well, if long range doesn't work, we'll just have to get up close and poke them.
Strange. The asteroid is emitting highly energized particles, like the tail of a comet.
It's marked as an asteroid in the stellar registry. No mention of reactive properties.
So, same asteroid, different behavior. Sounds like we're on the right track.
We can see the misbehaving asteroid from afar, and it is indeed trailing a long tail behind it of particles, but the level of interference here is crippling our sensors. While this star is indeed dying, we can see the effects of the blistering radiation being pumped out as we draw closer. 0.4 AU is about the orbit of Mercury at points in its orbit, so any planetoid out here is presumably going to be borderline molten, even near a cooler star. And once we're suitably close, we give it a scan.
The asteroid is emitting energy in a pattern similar to that of the star earlier. Whatever caused that issue may be in effect here as well. We are still unable to conduct a deep scan of the asteroid, however. If we can devise a way to do so, I believe we will find more answers.
Indeed. Recommendations?
There is a human expression. You cannot prepare an omelet without cracking a few eggs. Or in this case, asteroids. If we fracture one of them with our weapons, we will expose the core and obtain the deep scan results we seek.
I like Captain Ingame. Cannot scan down to the core, so get the core to come up to us. Very well, I'm sure the Nakul won't mind. Lock on phasers and prepare a volley of torpedoes to fracture it apart.
I believe we've cracked the egg just a bit too hard. There's not much left to study, I'm afraid.
Oops.
Fortunately, there are more targets available. We should try again, although with considerably lower weapon settings.
Yeah. Tactical reduced phaser yield.
The Nakul have tagged the next asteroid for future mining operations.
Under the circumstances, I believe they'll agree that its loss will be acceptable.
I certainly hope so, ma'am. I'd prefer not to incur their wrath today.
We close in on the second rock and hope that Kuumaarke is correct in her assumptions. This is more of a resource to the Nakul than the previous one.
Let's scan the debris for reactive particles. That did the trick. Scanning our little cracked egg now. The core is decaying into ionized gases. Quite similar to what is happening to the interior of the Nakul star.
Alright. Is that enough to figure out what's going on?
I'd like to crack another egg and conduct a scan of it before moving on to making the omelet, so to speak. If my hypothesis is correct, the radiation signature present will match, bringing us another step closer to understanding this phenomenon.
Very well. Locate another target.
Remember, we do not want to pulverize our next target.
The Nakul have detected our weapons fire, Admiral. They are understandably curious.
Update them on our activities here, Captain. We've nothing to hide.
I really hope this mission pays off. Otherwise we're just the idiots that showed up, lanced their star, and then blew up their resources before leaving.
Asteroid successfully fractured. Begin your scans now. It's a match.
Very good, Captain. Now, let's compare radiation signatures. As I suspected, all of the asteroids we've studied have matching radiation signatures.
Alright then, so whatever is affecting the star is affecting the around area too, so it might not be the sun itself.
Not quite yet. There are some reactive gas clouds nearby. If their radiation pattern matches those present in the asteroid cores, we can triangulate the origin point and locate the source.
Alright, more scanning, this time to find the point of the radiation, right?
Admiral, the Nakul representative is concerned about the destruction of valuable asteroids.
I mean, I get that.
Inform him that the Alliance will compensate the Nakul for their loss, please.
As you wish, Admiral. Ingame out.
Man, I'm glad Kuumaarke is leading this mission. I mean, I've got a good science team, but overall, I'm not exactly suited to such delicate work.
Analysis complete. The wave patterns are a match.
Excellent. So the next step is to triangulate the location of the issue.
Indeed. I'm transmitting the coordinates to you and Captain Ingame. Head there now. Once you've arrived, we can triangulate the location of the anomaly's source.
Alright, gang, we split up and look for clues.
Compiling sensor data now. Aha! There you are! The multiphasic pulse waves are originating from high orbit around the planet closest to the Nakul star.
But from this range, can you tell what's actually causing it?
Nothing conclusive at this time, I'm afraid. However, if I were to speculate, it's almost like something is tapping against the fabric of space-time.
Well, you say it like that, and it sounds ominous. Could be a natural phenomena. Either way, we should go take a look.
We're approaching the coordinates now. I trust you've spotted our uninvited guests?
Yep. Tholians. This stage has got a lot more complicated.